The news broke like a thunderclap across Africa. President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso has rejected the renewal of the French military base agreement. No hesitation, no compromise. A decision that sent shockwaves not only through Ouagadougou, but across Paris, Washington, and Brussels. For decades, French troops have operated in West Africa under the banner of security, but many Africans know the truth. Those bases were symbols of dependency, shadows of colonial power still lingering in the 21st century. In a televised address, Traoré's voice was steady but resolute. He declared that Burkina Faso would chart its own course, without foreign armies dictating its future. His words echoed far beyond his borders. To millions of Africans, it was more than politics. It was liberation. A young leader daring to say no to the same empire that had once ruled his people. For many, this was the clearest signal yet that a new Africa was rising. Crowds gathered in Ouagadougou, waving national flags, chanting his name. Ordinary citizens, farmers, students, workers, they stood together under the scorching sun to celebrate what they saw as the first true act of sovereignty in generations. "This is not just Burkina Faso," shouted one man in the crowd. "This is Africa standing tall." The air was electric, filled with both pride and defiance. In Paris, however, the reaction was bitter. French officials condemned the decision, warning of economic and political consequences. But Traoré was unmoved. He reminded the world that Burkina Faso had no obligation to remain chained to agreements that no longer served its people. The French base, once sold as a shield against terrorism, had become a symbol of control. With rising anger against foreign interference, Traoré's move was not just expected, it was inevitable. Analysts quickly called it a turning point. For years, leaders across Africa had spoken quietly of independence while signing papers that reinforced dependency. Traoré changed that. He did not whisper in closed rooms. He spoke openly on the global stage, declaring that Africa would no longer be a playground for foreign armies. His courage reignited a debate across the continent. If Burkina Faso can take back control, why not Mali, Niger, Chad, or even beyond? The rejection of the French base also raised questions about regional security. Western media immediately predicted chaos, claiming that without foreign troops, Africa would fall into instability. But Traoré countered with a different vision. He announced plans to strengthen regional alliances, to build African-led defense systems, and to cooperate with partners who respected sovereignty. "Our land is not for sale. Our people are not pawns," he declared. It was a direct challenge to the narrative of dependency that had dominated Africa for decades. The streets of Ouagadougou remained alive with energy. Artists painted murals of Traoré as a warrior breaking colonial chains. Musicians composed songs celebrating freedom. In villages, elders spoke with pride that finally a leader had risen who placed dignity before fear. The symbolism was undeniable. Burkina Faso had planted a flag of resistance that others could rally around. In Washington and Brussels, discussions turned urgent. Officials feared that Traoré's bold stance could inspire a domino effect across Africa. Already, Niger had expelled foreign forces. Mali had charted its own independent path. With Burkina Faso joining the wave, the West's grip on Africa was slipping faster than ever. For the first time in generations, it seemed possible that Africa would stand as an equal partner on the world stage, rather than a dependent subject. Critics inside the country raised concerns about retaliation, sanctions, or covert operations designed to punish Burkina Faso. Traoré, however, addressed these fears directly. "We know the price of freedom is high," he said, "but the cost of submission is far greater." His words resonated deeply, reminding his people that true sovereignty demands sacrifice. And the people answered with determination, promising they would stand with their leader no matter the cost. Beyond Burkina Faso, the story became a symbol of resistance across Africa. Newspapers from Lagos to Nairobi published headlines declaring, "Africa says no to colonialism." On social media, young Africans shared clips of Traoré's speech with pride, calling him a modern hero. The message spread quickly. Africa's destiny must no longer be written in Paris or Washington, but in African capitals by African hands. This moment was not just about one base or one country. It was about reclaiming history, rewriting the future, and proving that courage could topple empires. By rejecting the French military base, Ibrahim Traoré lit a fire that cannot be easily extinguished. Whether the West admits it or not, the tide has turned. The final question remains, will Africa's leaders follow Traoré's path, or will they remain silent under the weight of old agreements? Whatever the outcome, one thing is clear. Burkina Faso has taken the first bold step, and the world is watching. Subscribe now for more stories on Africa's struggle, its victories, and the unstoppable rise of leaders who dare to dream of true independence.